Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I wish you could see how I have the camera set up. Hopefully it stays like this. I'm using a little ring thing. Whatever, I don't know why it's there. Over the back of a stroller. Anyways, so today I want to talk about doing something new. It's so funny to me. Okay, anyways. So we've talked a lot through this introspective journey about all of the things that you do and who you are and kind of the things that make you you. And today let's talk about trying something new and getting outside of your comfort zone. And is that something that you can do? There are so many experiences in this world, like everywhere. Every day you can have a new experience, and I think that some people miss out because they don't like to step outside of their comfort zone or whatever is keeping them from doing something new, not what they want to do, but something new, something different. And I think that too often we get stuck in our small world, and everything is the same, and everybody is the same, and everything is the same, and that just becomes comfortable and normal. And sometimes we forget to step outside ourselves and try something new. And sorry, I feel like this is really close to my face. Okay, I feel better now. Good morning, everybody. It's really early. Can you see the sun just peeked up high enough? It's not totally dark outside. Anyways, so experiencing something new isn't just like, okay, today I'm going to go for a walk in a new place, but experiencing a new culture, experiencing a new place, experiencing a new food, experiencing a new something, but really like talking to somebody who's different than you. How often do you talk to somebody who's different than you? And like, really, how often? I mean, some people have best friends who are complete opposite, but at the same time, when you're best friends with somebody, there are things that are just going to be the same because you're sharing these experiences and they become shared experiences, and therefore you lose some of those differences. Like we live in a world of globalization, so you are able to talk to people on the other side of the world. When's the last time you talked to somebody on the other side of the world? Have you ever talked to somebody on the other side of the world? Have you ever talked to somebody who is Muslim? Have you ever talked to somebody who's Jewish? Have you ever talked to somebody who's a devout Catholic? Like where, and not just talk to them, but ask them, like, what are your experiences in life? How do you experience things differently than I do? How do you perceive this world? And when we start to do that, it really opens up your brain, your mind, your ability to think outside the box, to think bigger than you. And I also think that it really helps when you're doing like magic and spirituality, because you're able to see things from a different perspective. And as we talked about through many of the videos, perspective is such a big deal. And your perspective is what makes or break your practice, I feel like. And your magic and your meditations and all of that different stuff. I never was going to think I'm crazy. I guess we live in a world where this is normal. Which I would never have said like 5 years ago, even a year ago, this would not have been normal. But anyways, the value that people who are different can bring to your life is amazing. So before Samhain, I had a friend and she did a little pumpkin carving gathering, and one of the reason that she did it was like she wanted to do a really American traditional pumpkin carving celebration because her neighbor's from India, and this is the last Samhain that he'll be in America, and soon he'll be going back. And so she wanted him to experience this as like the American traditional holiday. But it was really funny because when I showed up and we're all hanging out, we went over like the history and Skinny Jack, whatever his name is, and where the American jack-o'-lantern comes from and all of that kind of stuff. But then by the time we were about halfway through the night, all I wanted to do was ask him about things that are different in India and America. And I had to ask him at one point. I'm like, did I bother you? Like, I hope I didn't bother you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just super nosy and curious. Like, what to you, as someone who's experienced both cultures, what is the biggest difference? What do you see as in, like, what do you miss from India and the American culture, and what do you want to bring back with you from the American culture to India? And I'm trying to have like a cultural philosophical conversation. Everybody else is like drinking, carving pumpkins, but I learned from him, and even though it was just a brief conversation, and we just kind of, a little bit, but I learned something new about the Indian culture. I learned about, well, it wasn't really learned something different. It was just learned that there's a comparison because there's so much racism in India, and he hits it because he's got a beard here. It's his American beard. But when he goes back to India, he's got to shave his beard, and he can't. He's like, I'm gonna miss having my beard, but I can't wear a beard when I go back to India because there's a lot of racism there, and they have a lot of issues. And he's like, I said, well, why? He says, well, my grandparents will ask me if I'm a terrorist. Okay, it's not funny. I don't mean to laugh, like, but that's like really. Americans are not alone in their fear of people who are different. People who are different, that's something that's all over the world. And if we want to stop that, then what better way to reach across that border and talk to somebody who's from somewhere else? I was at the bank. We're getting our basement refinished. Well, not now because of Corona, but eventually. And I was talking to the manager over at the bank, and he was telling me how his brother's an electrician. I was like, oh, good, I need an electrician. Can you give me his number? Like, one of those small town moments that never actually happens, but it, like, really happened. We were talking to him, and he's like, okay, so here's my brother's number, and then here's my dad's number, and they're both electricians. If you call my dad, don't let him play you like he doesn't speak English. And, he, like, in a polite way, tried to be like, well, you know, they're from Mexico and they only speak Spanish or whatever. So he's like, it's like in a polite way, trying to be like, don't be put off because they don't speak any English. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I live in a neighborhood where I'm one of the very few people that actually speak English, and I love it. I love every minute about it. I love that my kids have all of these other neighborhood kids to play with and learn it and hang out. I love the birthday parties. Let me tell you, my neighbors throw some bumping birthday parties for their kids, and they're so fun. And I try to emulate that with my own kids to, like, you can do it, and we can have great birthday parties too. And he laughed. He's like, oh, good, okay, so you won't have a problem with it. I'm like, no, because I don't care. I don't care what language you speak or what country you come from or whatever. What I care about is who you are as a person and what you do every day. I've met some really great people who are from places in the world that you would be like, oh, they don't have good people there, which is such a stupid thing to say. Like, when people say stuff like that, I'm like, really, every single person from Iran? You know every single person from that, like, all of them. No, you don't. I had a family friend who did an exchange student program, and she only took men from the Middle East to come to her home, and she's a lesbian, an American lesbian who lives all by herself, and she would have these men come from Pakistan and Iran and Afghanistan and all of these different places. And when she first started doing it, I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, this was in the heart of the Gulf War. There was like all of this. There's still a yuck going on, but like, why are you doing this? And and I'll never forget, at my youngest sister's birthday party, she had one of these exchange student comes, and he bought my sister this red dress. She was like 5. It had like Minnie Mouse on it. It was super cute. It was super cool. He was just a really cool person. He was really nice. He was nothing like anybody. You would never have expected this. Like, he came from a very devout Muslim family, and he came here with an open mind and an open heart, and he made friends, and we all were friendly. Like, it was just, he was a really nice person. It was a really great experience to have, especially in my young brain, because I was like, I was just like most American kids when we're at war with the Middle East or whatever, and after 9/11 and all of that stuff, there was so much hate. And then I met this person who was from one of these countries that we're supposed to hate because they're horrible people, and they're really not. They're good people. This was a good person. He was a really wonderful person. All of the exchange students that she ever had were amazing people. And not one of them came over here and was like, I condemn you and I have to go back to where I came from because I can't live with a lesbian. And so it was just eye-opening that not everybody is like that. And so when people are like, all of those people, like, no, you don't know. You can't make that statement. That's like someone who says all pagans do this or that. And that's so far from the truth. And if we don't go out and talk to other people and experience different cultures and reach outside of our comfort zone, then we're never going to learn things like that. We're never going to have those experiences. I love making curry and trying to find fenugreek. Okay, so you can get it at the grocery store and it's really expensive. I'm like, I cannot keep spending $7 for 2 tablespoons of fenugreek when I use that in one meal of curry. Like, between the curry and the tiki masala, I end up using it all. So I'm like, this is crazy. This costs more than the meat that I'm putting into my dinner. So I'm like searching and I'm going to ethnic grocery stores. And they don't call fenugreek in the rest of the world. They call it meti. And I'm in the little Asian grocery store, and the guy doesn't speak any English, and I don't speak whatever language he speaks. So we're trying to discuss this, and it was a fun experience. I had my kids with me, and he was friendly, and I was friendly, and we're trying to figure it out. And he goes and he gets this bag. They got like the pre-mixed curry, and we're like holding up the bag. He's like pointing at all of the things in the bottom of the bag, and we're like, I finally found out, like, this one. He's like, oh, Matty. He takes me over. They got a huge bag of it for like $3. I wanted to hug him. He doesn't understand. Like, this crazy lady is really excited about this spice. But I've been to like 4 grocery stores now looking for this, talking to people who don't speak English, trying to figure it out. But I was determined. So now I know. It's called meti, and it's delicious. And if you're making curry or Indian food, or even some Asian dishes, and you can't figure out what spice you're missing, and you're like, there's just something missing, it's the meti. It's called fenugreek, meti, whatever. It's delicious. It's like a seed. It's that aromatic smell when you walk into an Indian restaurant and you smell that sweet smell. Oh, it makes me want to go make curry right now. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, so. But I would never have had these experiences if I didn't step outside my comfort zone and be like, okay, I'm going to go try something new. We love going to new restaurants, and my kids love food that's not American. My son's favorite food is Indian food. My daughter's favorite food is Japanese food. The little one's still on cheesy noodles and PB&J, but whatever. But no, she loves her Indian food, and she eats sushi with the rest of us. It's just one of those things. Like, we open up ourselves to these experiences so that we can broaden our horizons, so that we can, experience more in life. So, my challenge to you today is to get out your journal and to write about your comfort zone. Define your comfort zone. Is it really rigid? Is it like wavy? Do you have different options? Can you go in different directions, or do you have to be like one way all the time? Do you like trying new things? Do you read books about other cultures? Do you talk to people from other places in the world? Are you looking for, are you open when somebody says, let's try something new? Are you the person who's like, yeah, let's do that? Or are you the one that's like, I think I'll just stay home? Where is your comfort zone? Where you draw that line? And how often do you step outside that? How often do you take in new information? And really meditate on that and think about that and then think about how you could open up a little bit more and to new experiences. I'm not saying travel around the world, obviously not right now. We got 2-week quarantine forever. Your whole vacation would be quarantine followed by quarantine followed by quarantine. So silly. But Do you read books about other cultures? When I read the Quran, I got so much flack. I got flack from the pagan community. I got flack from, oh, my devout family. They all know I'm pagan, but when I told them I was reading the Quran, they were like, the devil's gonna get you. Like, wait, I thought I already happened. I'm like a pagan and I worship. No, okay, I don't. But it was just one of those. I was like, really? This is worse than paganism? I literally believe in Pan, who is your ideology of the devil, and me reading the Quran, and then it was just funny because there are so many mirrors between the Bible and the Quran that I was like, really, guys, really. And if you don't believe me, go pick up a Quran and read it. Like, that's what I encourage you to do. If you want to judge other religions, why don't you pick up their holy books and read them? I love the Torah. I love the little books that go along with Judaism. They have all of these, like, be a good person books, which I think are amazing. And if I could remember, they're in Hebrew, so it's hard for me to say anyways, but they're great books. And I would totally recommend going out and reading them and learning something new. We talk about being eclectic pagans. Well, be eclectic. Go read something new. Learn from a new culture. Learn from a new person. The sun is up now, so you're getting some crazy glare. But I hope everybody challenges themselves to try something new. Or at least write down where your comfort zone is. So think about what makes you comfortable, what makes you uncomfortable, and what new experiences that you can have. So, without further ado, many toasts to you and all you do, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend and that you are enjoying this introspective journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that hot jazz, and we'll see you soon.